While we are aware that no one is perfect, the NBA has had its share of numerous errors in the past. The NBA isn't all just fun and games. Some acts occur behind the scenes. Some of these activities will leave you in bewilderment, while others are simply ridiculous. Let's get into some unusual NBA slip-ups they want you to forget.
It's still orange and still round. And I know the league has caught a lot of flack about the new ball, but we'll get used to it. And it's just a matter of just playing with the ball and getting used to it.
The NBA ball change. Many viewers may not be conversant with this failed implementation of a new ball in the 2006-07 offseason. However, on the 29th of June 2006, the NBA and its partner Spalding's launched the use of a new ball, which was literally dubbed the new ball. The new ball was made of cross-traction interlocking microfiber material with a cross-shaped 4-panel design instead of the typical 8-panel ball. The idea was to displace the traditional leather balls with synthetic balls, which were cheaper to manufacture and distribute. It was the first time in 35 years there was a change to the ball, and only the second time in 60 seasons the NBA witnessed a technological upgrade. This microfiber composite ball was supposedly an advancement in sporting goods technology that provided better grip, feel, and handling for NBA players. Unfortunately, this turned out to be a massively failed project, which eventually went under wraps in no time. Initially, fans and NBA players were very enthusiastic as they anticipated the release of the new ball. The high pre-order sales projected the eagerness from the fans to transition from the regular leather ball to the newly made synthetic ball. Many NBA players also supported this new arrival, and there was a positive feel about it. When you play in different cities, the ball may be a little newer or maybe a little worn out, but this ball right here, it seems like it's gonna stay the same, so that's a positive thing. Chris Paul said of the ball, "The primary purpose of the new ball was to provide consistency," as Chris highlighted, and reduce the cost of production of match balls. However, the new advancement product was short-lived as various shortcomings negated this effect. Late in October, the new ball was introduced in training camps for players to try out before the new season. However, this sparked more dissatisfactory remarks and comments as players had several complaints about the structure of the ball and how it didn't bounce as well as the traditional leather balls. Some sustained cuts and bruises on their hands because the ball got slippery when wet. Throughout the league, Phoenix's point and star man Steve Nash and several NBA stars had to wear bandages on their fingers due to the numerous cuts sustained from the rough texture of the new ball. Shaquille O'Neal held no words back in his criticism of the new ball, saying, "It's the worst decision some expert whoever did it changed the ball should be fired. The NBA's been around for how long? 100 years? 50 years? So to change it now, whoever that person is needs to have his college degree revoked. It's a terrible decision." He went on to address the ball's material as one of the cheap balls you look to buy at indoor stores, and terrible for shooting. Yeah, Shaq really makes no effort in mincing words here. He also predicted that there would be a lot of missed shots and a high increase in turnovers. More complaints followed for 2 months, with ESPN's Steven Jackson saying it felt like plastic and was sticky to handle when dry. Various NBA stars publicly expressed their displeasure over the synthetic ball, highlighting the discomfort they felt when with it. Quite ironic. Ray Allen, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Shaquille O'Neal were some NBA players who criticized the new ball. On the 11th of December, the NBA succumbed to the new ball's complaints and officially reintroduced the old leather ball. In an official interview, NBA Commissioner David Stern acknowledged the disapproval from the players and called off the testing. He said, "I won't make a spirited defense to the ball. In hindsight, he could have done a better job. I take responsibility for that." Speaking further, he added, "If our players are unhappy with it, we have to analyze to the nth degree the cause of their unhappiness. Everything is on the table. I'm not pleased, but I'm realistic. We've got to do the right thing here. And of course, the right thing is to listen to our players." This failed trial was easily concealed as only the 2006 NBA All-Stars got the opportunity to test the new ball.
What?
When it all came out.
The marriage?
Yeah, when it was suddenly, the fairy tale suddenly was hit by this hammer blow.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was, it's the first time I'm talking about it, so I'm sorry. It was heartbreaking. It was,
The Tony Parker affair. Sometimes what looks attractive on the outside isn't the case on the inside. Former NBA star Tony Parker and actress Eva Longoria announced their engagement. They would eventually get married. The super couple was the talk of the town, and everything looked to be perfect for them, or so it seemed. In December 2007, barely 6 months after their marriage, Tony's love life made the headlines again, this time without Eva in the picture. Rumors surfaced on various websites and publications of Tony having an extramarital affair with the young model, Alexander Peresson. Parker and his wife, Longoria, were quick to rebuff these claims, stating that these were common accusations against celebrities. The couple filed a $20 million lawsuit against the site that initiated the fabricated news. The allegations were consequently dropped, and rumors eventually died down. One would think this would put an end to Parker's apparent extramarital relations. Sadly, this wasn't the case. Exactly 3 years later, it was certain Parker wasn't going to be spending Christmas Eve with darling Eva. On the 10th of December, Eva filed for a divorce due to irreconcilable difference, stating infidelity and demanding alimony. She believed Parker to have been unfaithful to her with another woman. Popular American news magazine Extra identified the mistress to be the wife of former teammate Aaron Berry. Tony Parker, his wife, and the Berrys were very close friends and often celebrated birthdays and parties together, making the situation even more awkward and awful. Longoria had stated that the Berrys were going through a divorce at the time. Luckily for the Spurs star, the scandal somehow managed to stay under the rug without affecting his successful NBA career.
Fixing games. I mean, people, some people think that I went out there and put Shaquille O'Neal to the bench or LeBron James to the bench so that some of these bets won. That's really not what happened. I picked the games based on relationships that existed between referees and players.
Tim Donaghy cheapening referees' integrity. Tim Donaghy served as an NBA official for 14 years, officiating 772 regular season games and 20 playoff games in his career. No one saw Tim's retirement coming as early as it did. On the 9th of July 2007, he announced his retirement from the NBA. Things eventually became clearer as Tim Donaghy was reportedly under investigation by the FBI on allegations that he made bets on the games he officiated between 2005-06 and 2006-07 NBA seasons. While the NBA provides resources to monitor officials' performances, it took the intervention of the FBI to nail down Donaghy's crimes. These charges are reflected in the debatable calls to align the games with the spread bet. Anyone familiar with the notorious match between the Lakers and Sacramento Kings will surely relate to this. In addition, reports later surfaced that Donaghy had a gambling addiction. Donaghy pleaded guilty to the charges before him and was sentenced to 11 months imprisonment at a federal prison facility. He then served the remainder of his prison sentence in a halfway house. He was later sentenced to another prison sentence for violating his release agreement. Oh well, another case of money reducing the integrity of the game.
So, Crinton, at that point, was that the end of his career after that situation?
Yeah, I to be honest, I think he got more of a bad. He got a bad. His wasn't fair because you got to remember.
Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton criminal case. Many people were surprised to see Arenas' form drop severally all of a sudden during the 2010-2011 season. Arenas had violated NBA rules by bringing an unlicensed weapon to the league premises. He had intended to threaten Crittenton over his gambling debt. The two stars ended up having an altercation, but luckily no shot was fired. While the league was still looking into the case, Arenas jokingly gestured, pointing a gun at his teammate with his finger. This action led to an indefinite suspension from the NBA commissioner. It was during this period Arenas was charged with the illegal possession of firearms and felony act. He was made to spend 30 days in a halfway house. Arenas had signed a sponsorship deal with the Adidas brand and even had a personal footwear design, the Adidas Gill Zero shoe. However, after the weapon incident, Adidas withdrew its sponsorship deal. Arenas also confessed to running over 60 red lights in 4 months without a single charge by having his license plates off his vehicle. After he was reinstated into the team and played a couple of games, Arenas had become a shadow of his former self. Things, however, got much worse for Crittenton. He barely played a game in the NBA after a suspension from the NBA commissioner, David Stern. On the 11th of June, he was charged with the murder after the death of 22-year-old Julian Jones in the city of Atlanta. He and his cousin were charged with aggravated assault, voluntary manslaughter, and illegal possession of firearms. He is presently in prison serving out his 23-year prison sentence.
What words I can describe that are fit for FCC airwaves to explain the tragic decisions by J.R. Smith. You talk about asleep at the wheel. I got to tell you something right now. That is
J.R. Smith's infamous blunder. J.R. Smith's baffling error just on the stroke of regulation time in the Cavaliers' loss to the Golden State Warriors at the 2018 NBA Finals is one he would love to forget. But unfortunately, many NBA players and we will find it difficult to ignore such an event. With the game tied at 107, Smith rebounded a missed free throw by teammate George Hill to put the game to bed and gave the Cavs a decisive win. Perhaps Smith didn't realize they weren't on the front foot as he dribbled the ball out without shooting or passing to an open teammate. However, this left LeBron James absolutely infuriated at his decision to waste such a golden chance to seal the game. After the game, Smith stated that he was aware they were on the same amount of points. So why did he decide to take the option he took? We will never know. His excuse for not taking a shot made the whole scenario even more ridiculous. He said, "I was trying to get enough to bring it out to get a shot off." Smith's mistake may be one the fans will never forget, as he squashed an opportunity for the Cavs to land 2 NBA championships in the space of 3 years. Despite this awful moment, NBA players and fans alike took to Twitter to make lighthearted comments about the event. Of course, fans couldn't help themselves as they made witty remarks and memes on the situation. Smith is known for his charismatic personality and iconic shirtless celebration in the championship, but has seemingly kept a low profile since his horrendous miss.
He sacked the fool. What? He sacked the fool. What? He sacked the fool. What? He needs a bigger head. I'll let it go. I can't even go there, man. I can't go there. I gotta go there.
Miss. We won't forget. Errors may be horrendous, and often we can laugh about them later, which is why it is more fun and enlightening to reminisce instead of burying them. As you must know by now, in a league full of the biggest egos in America, there are bound to be wildly entertaining mishaps, mistakes, and errors.